Hello, everyone. Welcome to the News Browse News broadcast. UPI reports that former President Donald Trump has once again threatened to dismiss Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell, stating he would fire him if Powell does not step down from his position by May. Trump's criticism centers on Powell's monetary policy decisions, specifically a perceived slow pace in lowering interest rates and the escalating costs of the Federal Reserve headquarters renovation project. Trump described Powell as incompetent and a disaster in an interview on Fox Business. Powell, whose term as chair concludes on May 15th, has indicated his intention to remain on the Fed's Board of Governors as permitted by law, especially until an ongoing investigation into the renovation is finalized with transparency. The article notes that Trump lacks the authority to fire Powell without cause. The Senate Banking Committee is expected to hold hearings on Trump's nominated replacement, Kevin Warsh, on April 21st. Senator Thom Tillis has stated he will block Warsh's confirmation until the investigation into Powell is resolved, a stance Trump dismisses. UPI reports that U.S. Attorney Jeanine Pirro dispatched Justice Department prosecutors to the Federal Reserve headquarters in Washington, D.C. on Tuesday, but they were denied entry to inspect ongoing renovations. This unannounced visit comes amid an ongoing Justice Department investigation into Fed Chairman Jerome Powell concerning the renovation project, which has an estimated cost of $2.5 billion. A federal judge recently nullified 2 grand jury subpoenas targeting the Fed, citing evidence of harassment against Powell. President Donald Trump has publicly expressed his desire to remove Powell due to the Federal Open Market Committee's stance on elevated interest rates to combat inflation. Powell's term as Fed chairman is set to conclude in May, and Trump has nominated Kevin Warsh as his potential successor. Senator Thom Tillis, however, has stated he will not vote on Warsh's nomination until the Justice Department's investigation is resolved. Pirro emphasized that the construction project's nearly 80% cost overruns warrant a serious review. Slovenia's newly elected parliamentary speaker, Zoran Stevanović, has announced plans to hold a referendum on the country's withdrawal from the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, NATO. Stevanović expressed a desire for Slovenia to pursue a more independent and sovereign foreign policy, stating that decision-making should be centered in the Ljubljana, not Brussels, in reference to EU institutions. He also emphasized that Slovenia should avoid involvement in foreign military and diplomatic conflicts that do not align with its national interests. This announcement comes as former U.S. President Donald Trump recently reiterated his criticism of NATO, specifically regarding the Iran war and the Strait of Hormuz escort issues, even threatening U.S. withdrawal. Stevanović, who leads the right-wing populist Resni.ca Truth Party, acknowledged that a referendum on leaving the European Union would likely face public opposition due to the benefits of EU membership. However, his party is committed to fulfilling campaign promises, including a proposed exit from the World Health Organization, Krosoforit, Kutso. Stevanović also revealed plans for his first official visits as Speaker to North Macedonia and Denmark, and expressed interest in visiting Moscow soon, aiming to build bridges despite existing divisions between the West and East. This news comes from the Liberty Times. Al Jazeera reports that 3 years into Sudan's civil war, the country faces a systematic erosion of its future. According to Luca Renda of the UNDP, over 40,000 people have been killed and 14 million, a quarter of the population, are displaced. The conflict has devastated civilian infrastructure, leading to a $6.4 billion GDP loss in 2023 alone. Agriculture, once the economic backbone, saw a 15% drop in cultivated land, while industrial activity collapsed by 90%. Power generation capacity is down 40%, and water systems are failing, contributing to disease outbreaks. The Sudanese pound's collapse, coupled with disrupted supply chains, has caused a sharp rise in food and fuel prices, making necessities unaffordable for many. Wages haven't kept pace, leaving nearly half the population acutely food insecure. The UN warns that continued conflict to 2030 could shrink Sudan's economy by an additional 34.5 billion by 2043, pushing 34 million more into extreme poverty. Stopping the conflict is the most urgent priority. Snap, the parent company of the popular social media platform Snapchat, announced on April 15th a significant workforce reduction, affecting approximately 1,000 positions across the company. This represents a layoff of about 16% of its full-time employees. In addition to the layoffs, Snap also confirmed the closure of over 300 vacant job positions. According to a report from Fengguanwan, these changes are part of a broader strategy by Snap to modify its operational methods and enhance profitability. The company aims to redirect its investments towards projects that hold the highest potential for creating long-term value, specifically highlighting artificial intelligence (AI) initiatives. Snap believes that the rapid advancements in AI can help its teams reduce repetitive tasks, significantly improve efficiency, and foster better support for all participants within its ecosystem. The company noted that some smaller teams have already demonstrated substantial progress in critical projects by effectively utilizing AI tools. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.